My beloved child, before you move away from this moment, listen carefully, because something unusual is happening around your name right now, and many do not understand why your name has suddenly become the center of attention. All day, voices have been rising in a place you cannot yet see. Papers have been lifted, screens have been checked again and again, signatures have been compared, and still the same question keeps moving from one desk to another. Who is the one whose name appears on this deposit? Why is this account carrying a value so great that even those who handle numbers every day cannot speak calmly anymore? Do not skip, because what is being revealed now has been waiting for the exact second your attention arrived here. Inside that room, people who normally speak with confidence have become silent. They are looking at a record so unusual that even the senior officials have stepped closer. The amount placed beside your name is so large that it does not fit their expectation of what should happen in one ordinary day. Some are whispering. Some are pretending not to react, but their eyes keep returning to the same line. They have checked the sender's field more than once, and every time they read it, they pause. The sender's name says Michael. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is why you must stay till the end, because not everyone around that moment is celebrating what has arrived for you. Some are confused. Some are curious. And one person there is already thinking how long this can remain unnoticed before someone speaks your name aloud and calls you forward. What they do not know is that this moment did not begin in that building. It began long before today, when quiet battles surrounded your path and you kept walking even when nothing made sense. You thought certain delays meant denial. You thought silence meant nothing was moving. But while you were wondering why some doors remained closed, other preparations were happening where you could not see them. Names were being aligned. Moments were being arranged. Timing was being guarded. And now the effect of those hidden arrangements is beginning to appear in a form that nobody around you expected. Do not skip, because there is a reason urgency surrounds this message. There is already movement around what belongs to you. A senior executive has looked at the transfer again. He has studied the file carefully. He has noticed that the owner has not yet responded. He has noticed that confirmation is still pending. He has noticed that if silence continues, he may be able to redirect attention and place himself between you and what carries your name. This is why the atmosphere feels tense. It is not only surprise. It is not only curiosity. It is the awareness that something assigned to you has appeared so suddenly that even those handling it are unsettled by the weight of it. Stay till the end, because you need to understand this clearly. Some opportunities do not arrive loudly in your surroundings first. They arrive quietly, then suddenly everyone else notices before you do. The strange part is that those speaking there do not know the story behind your name. They do not know how many nights you remained patient while nothing changed. They do not know how many times you almost believed that nothing extraordinary could ever come near your life. They only see the present screen in front of them. They only see the amount. They only see Michael written there. But they do not see the long unseen path that led to this exact second. One person asked if there had been an error. Another asked if the system should be checked again. Another requested higher authorization because no one wanted responsibility for confirming something so unusual without certainty. Yet every time the data returned, it returned the same. Your name remained there. The amount remained there. The sender remained Michael. And now there is waiting. A strange waiting. Because confirmation requires response. Release requires attention. Recognition requires that you do not remain absent while others study what belongs to you. Something huge is waiting for you, and if you leave this unfinished, you may miss why this moment feels different from every ordinary message that has crossed your path before. There are moments when everything changes not because the world announces it loudly, but because one hidden decision reaches its appointed time. This is one of those moments. The reason the whole place is talking is not only because of the amount. It is because no one expected your name to stand above something that powerful. Some had already formed quiet opinions about what level your life should remain at. Some had already assumed your season would stay ordinary. Yet now your name is sitting where none of them expected it. Do not skip. Stay with this carefully. Because even now, while attention grows around your name, the one who almost ignored your file is returning to it again. He is reading details slowly. He is asking whether contact has been made. He is wondering how long delay can continue before authority shifts into his hands. And this is why this message carries urgency without fear. Attention matters now. You may ask, why now? Why today? Why suddenly? Because some moments are released only when earlier chapters are complete, even if you did not realize those chapters were being measured. The patience you thought nobody noticed was not wasted. The restraint you showed when frustration could have changed your direction was not forgotten. The quiet endurance you carried has reached a point where hidden preparation now becomes visible. Stay till the end, because the next part of this unfolding carries something even more surprising. Not everyone in that room believes the transfer should remain untouched until you respond. One voice has already suggested internal review. Another has suggested delay. Another has suggested technical caution. But beneath those official words, a different thought is growing. If the rightful name remains silent, someone else may attempt to stand close enough to benefit from what was never assigned to them. That is why you are hearing this now in a moment that feels intense. Because silence sometimes invites interference. And today is not the day to let your own moment pass like background noise. The sender field still reads Michael. The room is still unsettled. The file is still open. The eyes are still watching. And your name is still there, brighter than any expected it to be. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is only the beginning. While your name is still being discussed behind that glass desk, something even stranger is beginning to happen, because the conversation has now moved beyond surprise and into disbelief. The first officials who saw the record thought it was an isolated system event, but now others have gathered, and every new person who looks at the screen reacts the same way: silence first, then a second look, then a question no one can answer immediately. Why has a transfer of this scale arrived under your name? And why does the sender still remain Michael? Do not skip, because what happens next changes the meaning of everything you heard before. A senior manager has now entered the room. He was called because the amount attached to your file has become impossible to ignore. He stood still for a moment, folded his hands, and looked carefully at the details. He asked for verification again. He asked whether contact had been made. He asked if the account owner had responded. And when he heard there was still no answer, his expression changed, because now delay no longer feels ordinary. It feels dangerous to them, not because something is wrong, but because they understand that something this unusual cannot remain waiting forever without attracting attention from the wrong minds. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and there is a reason the atmosphere keeps tightening. One employee quietly said that if no acknowledgement comes soon, internal review may begin. Another said the file should remain protected. But someone standing near the corner did not agree. He leaned forward and asked whether temporary authority could be assigned elsewhere until confirmation arrives. His voice was calm, but everyone there understood what he meant. If you remain silent too long, someone may step closer than they should. The room became quieter after that. Even those who had been whispering stopped speaking for a moment. Because now it was no longer only about numbers. It became about ownership, recognition, and timing. And your name remained at the center of all of it. Do not skip. Listen carefully, because there is another detail now being noticed. The message attached to the deposit has finally been opened by one of the officials authorized to read it. It was short, clear, and impossible to misunderstand. It said that this transfer was prepared intentionally, that it belongs to the named receiver, and that delay must not become the reason for misdirection. When they read that line aloud, every person near the desk looked again at your file. That is why the energy around your name is growing stronger every minute. People who never expected to speak about you are now repeating your name simply because they cannot understand how this arrived so suddenly. Some are searching past records. Some are reviewing account history. Some are trying to connect what they see now with everything that came before, but nothing explains the scale of what has appeared. Something huge is waiting for you, because what they cannot see is the hidden preparation that came before this day. They are looking only at today's evidence, but they do not know how many unseen moments prepared this opening. They do not know how many quiet disappointments you passed through without realizing that something larger was still moving in silence. The senior manager has now requested that no one touch the file without direct instruction. Yet even with that command, eyes remain fixed on the screen. One person asked whether the sender identity could be traced further. Another checked again and confirmed the same answer, Michael. No error. No mismatch. No correction needed. Stay till the end, because this next detail explains why tension continues rising. A sealed approval layer exists above the visible record, and only one action can unlock the final release. Until that happens, everything remains visible but not complete. Visible enough to attract attention. Incomplete enough to create waiting. And waiting, when others are watching closely, creates pressure. The executive who first looked too long at your file has not left. He keeps returning. He pretends to review other work, but his attention keeps moving back. He knows something extraordinary sits there. He knows opportunities like this are never ordinary. And he knows that every passing minute increases uncertainty. Do not skip, because this is where the moment becomes personal. While others wonder why this has arrived for you, the truth is that your name is being lifted in places where it was once overlooked. The same name that moved through unnoticed seasons is now impossible for them to ignore. The same identity that passed through ordinary days is now causing extraordinary conversation. Something huge is waiting for you, and the strange part is that many around the moment are reacting before you even fully understand what has opened. They are seeing evidence before you feel the impact. They are discussing possibility before you even speak. One official finally said quietly, "We cannot keep this in uncertainty forever." That sentence changed the atmosphere again. Because everyone understood that a decision point is approaching. Either rightful confirmation arrives, or pressure begins building around the file in ways that should never have been necessary. And still, above every question, above every whispered conversation, above every careful glance, the sender line remains unchanged. Michael. Stay till the end. Do not let your attention leave now, because the next moment approaching inside that room may be the one that determines whether surprise becomes release. At this very moment, the room has become so quiet that even the smallest sound feels important, because everyone there understands that what is happening around your name is no longer an ordinary file under review. It has become the center of attention for an entire floor. And no one wants to be the person who makes the wrong move while something so rare is unfolding. Do not skip, because what happens now is the part no one in that building expected. A second layer of authorization has just been opened. Until now, only the amount and sender were visible, but another section of the record has appeared, and when it opened, even the senior manager leaned closer. A note attached beneath the transfer has now become readable, and the moment those words appeared, every person nearby stopped speaking completely. The note said that the deposit was not random, not delayed by accident, and not assigned in confusion. It stated clearly that the name written there had already been confirmed before the transfer was ever sent. It stated that what is arriving now belongs exactly where it has been placed. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the room has just realized that this moment was prepared far earlier than anyone assumed. One employee whispered that this means your name had already passed through approval before anyone at the desk even noticed the transfer. Another asked how that was possible without visible alerts. The answer came quickly: some authorizations happen before public systems begin to react. That single sentence changed everything, because now the room understood they were not looking at a sudden event, they were witnessing the final appearance of something already decided. Do not skip, because the executive, who had been watching quietly, is now showing visible concern. He has realized that the longer he waited, the more official the process became without his control. He can no longer casually step near it as if it were uncertain. Others are now standing closer, protecting the file through procedure alone. Still, his eyes return again and again to the same line. Your name. The amount. Michael. Something huge is waiting for you, because now another surprising detail has appeared. There is a timestamp connected to the transfer, and when they checked it, they discovered the instruction was registered before today's discussions even began. That means while people were living ordinary hours, while conversations moved normally, while no one suspected anything unusual, your name was already moving through hidden approval. The manager asked aloud why no early signal was noticed. One analyst answered that some records remain hidden until the right stage arrives. Again silence followed, because everyone there understood what that meant. This was meant to appear exactly when it appeared. Stay till the end, because tension is rising for another reason now. A call has been placed to higher administration, and while they wait for response, nobody is allowed to leave the file unattended. 2 staff members remain near the desk. One is checking compliance. One is reviewing sender credentials. And still every line returns clean, stable, untouched. The sender remains Michael. Do not skip. The strange part is that even those who do not believe easily are beginning to speak carefully. One woman at the far side of the room said she had never seen so many people gather around one account without an emergency, yet here everyone stands not because something is wrong, but because something extraordinary has arrived too precisely to ignore. The executive who earlier watched your file with too much interest has now stepped back, but not because he has lost attention. He stepped back because authority is increasing around the moment, and he understands that every move is now being noticed. His silence says more than words could say. Something huge is waiting for you, because one final field is now being reviewed, the release condition. This field decides whether the transfer remains visible only, or whether it moves into full availability. The manager looked at it twice, then asked quietly, "Has acknowledgement reached the owner yet?" Again the answer came, "Not yet." That answer changed the room once more. Because now they know everything is standing at the edge of completion, yet still waiting on one missing response. The record is ready. The sender is confirmed. The approval is sealed. The amount is untouched. But the final movement remains suspended. Stay till the end, because nobody there expected the next thing that happened. A small alert appeared beside your file. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. But everyone saw it. The alert stated that pending confirmation cannot remain open forever without escalation. The moment that line appeared, several people began speaking at once. Procedures were discussed. Timelines were checked. Options were reviewed. And through all of it, your name remained brighter than ever on that screen. Do not skip, because this is the exact reason the whole place is talking about you now, not simply because something large arrived, but because everything attached to it carries unusual precision, and every person there senses that this moment is unlike anything they handle on ordinary days. One official finally said, almost in disbelief, "This person must respond before the next stage begins." Then once again silence returned. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next stage has already begun to move. Now the atmosphere has changed again, because what began as surprise has turned into full attention from everyone on that floor, and no one is pretending this is ordinary anymore. The screen holding your name is no longer being viewed by one desk alone. It has been mirrored to a higher terminal, and even those who rarely leave private offices have stepped out just to see whether what they heard is true. Do not skip, because this next moment is the one they were not prepared for. A sealed response has just come back from higher authorization. The manager opened it carefully, and before he even finished reading, his expression changed. He did not speak immediately. He read every line again, slower than before, as if making sure nothing was misunderstood. Then he looked at everyone around him and said only one sentence: "The transfer remains exactly as submitted, and the named receiver must be reached before any delay changes the flow." The room reacted instantly. Chairs moved. Screens refreshed. Files were reopened. Every person understood that what had arrived under your name was now protected by instruction beyond local decision. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the room has just realized that no ordinary internal process can interfere now. The executive who had been quietly watching from the side is no longer calm. He understands the moment has moved beyond personal influence. The file he thought might stay uncertain is now surrounded by direct instruction. He stepped closer once more, hoping perhaps another review would reveal weakness, but every new check only confirms the same truth. Your name remains fixed, the amount remains untouched, and the sender line remains Michael. Do not skip, because another unexpected detail has appeared beneath the transfer record. A coded remark attached to the sender instruction has now been interpreted by compliance staff. It explains that the release was scheduled after a period of waiting already measured and completed. That means the timing was not sudden at all. It was exact. One official whispered that this explains why the transfer entered the system without confusion. Another answered that such timing usually means prior approval existed long before anyone at the desk became aware. And once again, silence spread, because that realization changed how everyone looked at your file. Something huge is waiting for you, because the same people who first questioned whether this could be real are now asking a different question: why this name, and why now? No one there can answer that fully, because they only see the final appearance. They do not see the hidden seasons before this day. They do not see the moments when nothing around you suggested that such a turning point could be close. Yet now they are staring at evidence that cannot be dismissed. Stay till the end, because the release condition has just entered final countdown review. A small status bar beside your record has changed color, and when that happened, even the manager called everyone to remain attentive. It means the file is approaching its final movement. The remarkable part is that while all this is happening, your name continues to be spoken by people who never knew they would discuss it today. One says the amount is beyond anything expected this week. Another says he has never seen such attention gathered around one deposit. Another simply shakes his head and repeats your name quietly, as if trying to understand how this became real. Do not skip. The executive who once hoped silence would help him has now stepped completely away from the desk, because there is nothing left for him to influence. Authority around your file is too strong now. Every action is being logged. Every view is recorded. Every second matters. Something huge is waiting for you, because one final line has now appeared on the release panel. Pending acknowledgement remains the only unfinished step. That sentence changed everything again. The manager leaned closer and asked if contact attempts had been confirmed. The answer returned, yes, but acknowledgement is still awaited. Immediately another official said there must be no further delay, because once a file reaches this stage, timing becomes critical to completion. Stay till the end, because the room is no longer simply observing. They are waiting for the exact second your side responds. Not because they doubt what is there, but because they know the moment is now fully ready. The sender remains unchanged. Michael. The amount remains untouched. The instructions remain active. And now even those who arrived late understand why the whole place is talking about you. Do not skip, because this is the closest point yet before full release, and everyone there can feel it. Even the quietest employees are watching the screen every few seconds. Even the senior manager has refused to leave until the status changes. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next update may be the one that shifts everything from visible promise into completed arrival. At the very moment everyone thought nothing more surprising could happen, the final screen changed, and the entire room became completely still. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the quiet sound of keyboards stopped, because the status beside your name shifted from waiting into active release preparation. Do not skip, because this is the moment every eye in that place has been waiting for. The manager looked up immediately and called the nearest staff closer. He did not raise his voice, but everyone heard the urgency in the way he spoke. Keep this file visible, do not close any window, and confirm every line again before the next stage completes. What they saw next removed every remaining doubt. A final seal appeared beside the sender information, and when they opened the seal, the attached note became visible in full. It stated clearly that the transfer was never meant to remain hidden forever, only protected until the exact moment of acknowledgement approached. It stated that no alternate claim should ever be considered, because the name written there had already been secured beyond internal challenge. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. And now even the people who questioned everything earlier have stepped back in complete silence. The same officials who kept asking whether the record might change are now watching proof that nothing about it is changing at all. The sender line still says Michael. The amount still remains beyond anything they expected to see attached to one name in a single day. And now a second confirmation has arrived from above, repeating that the file must move only toward rightful completion. Do not skip, because the executive who once stood too close to your file has finally understood there is nothing left to influence. He looked once more, then quietly turned away, because the moment has moved entirely beyond private ambition. What he hoped might remain uncertain has become undeniable. Something huge is waiting for you, because the release panel has now entered its final visible phase. A timer appeared beside the record, not counting loudly, not drawing attention with sound, but enough to show everyone that movement is happening in real time. One employee whispered that once this stage begins, reversal almost never happens. Another answered that such files only reach this level when every prior condition has already been satisfied. The manager heard them and simply nodded, because even he knows now that what is unfolding has already crossed every internal checkpoint. Stay till the end, because this is the detail no one expected. Your name has now been highlighted across the upper system, meaning the record is no longer local. It is visible at a level where no desk can quietly alter it, delay it, or reinterpret it. That is why the whole place is talking about you now more than ever. A woman standing near the back looked at the screen and said softly that she had never seen one name draw this much attention without announcement. Another replied that some moments arrive without warning because they were prepared long before they became visible. Do not skip. The truth is now obvious to everyone there. What has arrived under your name did not begin today. Today is only the moment others finally noticed it. Something huge is waiting for you, because one final message has appeared under the release condition. Acknowledgement window remains open, completion is near. That sentence changed the room one last time. No one left their position. No one turned away. Even the manager remained standing beside the terminal, watching for the next shift. The sender remains Michael. The transfer remains protected. The instructions remain active. And the room now understands why every conversation today returned to your name. Stay till the end, because the final movement is closer than anyone expected. The same file that caused whispers has now become the most closely watched record in that place. Every second feels important. Every glance returns to the same screen. Do not skip, because this final truth now fills the room. When a name that was once unnoticed suddenly appears where no one expected it, attention follows, questions rise, and silence becomes impossible. Something huge is waiting for you, and now everyone there knows that what belongs to you has reached the edge of full arrival.